Hello Frugal Force. If you enjoy this video, please be sure to hit like and subscribe and hit that notifications bell. Also, tell your friends, let them know about this series too, so we can spread the love of comics. And if you like these kind of videos where I share my passion with older issues as well as my other retrospectives and other things, reviews on current issues and things, be sure to check out the link below where you can help me out with as well as Little Frugal in our Patreon. You can help us out for as little as $1 or $2 a month, and stay aware that we have more things coming. So thank you, and I hope you enjoy the video. Hello Frugal Force, once again this is Captain Frugal reporting for duty. And first I'd like to apologize for being so long since my last flashback from the stash. These tend to take a bit of time because I usually scan them and put them into the computer. So that's my excuse. Then on top of all the sickness and things in the house, and to be fair, I've just been doing a lot of other videos, and I just kept putting this one off. And it's not that I don't like it, actually I do. It's just I ended up finding myself falling really far behind, so I apologize for that. And so in this case, with this issue, I scanned it, which in looking back, I probably should have just threw the comic on the table and put the video camera on it. It would have got done a lot quicker. But without that, without further ado, let's go into this. This is part 3 of 6. If you haven't checked out the other ones, go ahead and check out the other previous ones I've done of this series, because I'm going to cover the whole Man and Wolf series. I started it in Halloween of 2017. So yeah, I know I'm behind. And this is issue 404 of Captain America with a wonderful cover price of $1.25. And it says, it's Cap vs. Wolverine, and Moon Hunter is waiting to bury the loser. So we jump in there. And of course, we have an ad. I'm going to skip over this apple and cinnamon ad. And here we are where we left off with Cap and Dr. Druid surrounded by wolves. Now, before I get into too far of that, you're going to see Mark Gruenwald was a writer. And I have to say, I really liked Mark Gruenwald's series. It was Captain America, man out of time, pretty much traveling and doing adventures. And which is what we're actually getting a bit of right now in Mark Waid. Well, at least until they freeze him and then make him go into the future and supposedly become a king or something. Which, my goodness, I hope that's not true, because that would be awful. Okay, so here we have them at surrounded by wolves. Druid, they're closing in. I'm not going to read this all like comic historian. If you know that, you know how I do it. I share the story. I share my connections with it and how I like it. And this one's Children of Night. And by the way, before I forget, this was also penciled by Rick Levins, which, as I said, I think he was an okay penciler for the time. I wouldn't say top tier or anything of that nature, but pretty good. Captain America is taking on multiple wolves. And, just in today's current comic books, is it just me, or they don't tend to show how great Captain America is as a fighter as much anymore? They've really downplayed his skill a little bit. See, look at that. Look at him hit that thing with his shield. I love that. While Dr. Druid is floating up and out of the way. Look at this next scene. Cap is hitting. Look at that. He does a jump up kick, hits each one with each leg, hits one with his shield, and he's got another one with his arm. I mean, how awesome is that? Well, meanwhile, as I said, Dr. Druid is floating out of the way. Now, granted, he's doing that with a good reason. See, now here he is, high enough to be out of range of, of their best jumps, but low enough to still be a tempting target. So he's luring these away. So he's actually not being a chicken. All right. So how is that? I have captured their undivided attention. So now he's got their attention. So now look at this. It'll be elementary to mesmerize these bestial minds. So he's going to try to manipulate their minds so that they're no longer a threat, because there's no way they're going to be able to take out all of these. I mean, it's just not going to happen. Here it is, Cap decking this one. Cap is still tearing him up. I love it. Okay, absolutely amazing. I mean, once again, showing Cap's hitting. Now, I will say the backgrounds leave a lot to be desired. But it would be a little tough to do with this much action to make the backgrounds not make these pictures completely cluttered. Okay. So anyway, we still have Dr. Druid here. Go and let every wolf with whom you make eye contact think as you four. And what he's doing is making it so they can't see them. And look at these. These are with those Marvel trading cards. This was big in the 90s too. I have a set of quite a few of these sets of these card sets that they came out with. And they don't, as far as I know, really do that anymore. All right, so meanwhile we have Cap here. What's this? Some of the werewolves are fighting amongst themselves? That's odd. Druid's doing. Where did he hover off to anyway? And that's exactly what Druid did. And now Dr. Druid's going to levitate, and get Captain America out of here. Look at this. Poop. And then he's gone. So he saves him, gets him out of that. But, I mean, look at the heroics, though, of Captain America here. Look how manly and massive he is. There we go. There's some high tea right there. All right, and then we go to another advertisement. This is during the Super Nintendo era. Extra Innings. Anybody in the comment section ever play this game? I will say I have never played it. It might be a hit. Never touched it. It says elsewhere in Starksboro in the laboratory of Dr. Nightshade. It's the most particular thing. This is an odd subject, which of course it is. This subject matter here is Wolverine, which, as you know, he has special abilities of healing and things. So let's see how this affects this person here. He's Wolverine of the Mutant X-Men. Right. Well, the treatment just hasn't been working on him so far, no matter how concentrated I make the dosage. Now think about that. It's because of his healing factor. It's known to, always be able to overcome those kinds of things. So at least part of his mutancy must be his resistance to outside mutagenic agents. He's like, show me. I prepared another dosage before summoning you. So she gives him this dosage. See what happens to him. He changes, and look, he reverts right back. And that's because none other than, of course, his healing ability. So that's a really cool part of that, how they're trying to deal with him there. And then I scroll to my next page here. We'll have to give this oddity the special treatment. Bring him around. All I have to do is remove the volume drip, and within but a few minutes, and look at this. Here we go. Snick, he's awake. You gotta love the old classic Snicked. That always tells something's gonna happen. Remarkable. Look at me. Who the are you, bub? This is not something you need to know. All you need to know is found in my eyes. And he mesmerizes Wolverine, if you will, and makes him be under his control. And then he leaves. Instead, why don't you see if you can discover what makes him resistant to your chemicals. So anyway, we go back to Captain America, and he's getting levitated onto the roof out of the way of the wolves by none other than Dr. Druid. Druid, put me down. At once, Captain. Cloaking and levitating you seems the most expedient way out of that pointless altercation. When all things said, if you can avoid the fight, why not, right? And that was Dr. Druid's mentality there. The wolves are down there, stupid as will, looking around for him. I mesmerized a few werewolves who carried the message to be unable to perceive you to their pack. So, once again, you don't actually see him now. Whoever establishes eye contact with them were likewise affected. Cap's like, quite ingenious. The hard part was masking our scents from them. and that's a good point. And notice, they're all now headed back downtown. The base of operations must be there. And let me see, I'll see what I can do to keep us invisible. And Cap's like, the sun will be up in a few minutes. Wonder if these are the kind of werewolves who only come out at... Wait, do you hear something? And once again, as I said, Rick Levins, wasn't maybe the greatest artist in my opinion, but I think he was very serviceable. And then we go to the next page. Okay. Here's where you said they disappeared, doggy. See, because the dog told me disappeared. Then they gotta be around here somewhere. So they're looking around for him. Like, what the? So notice he sees him, and then Dr. Druid sees him too. Caught his attention with that simple firework. My gaze will make sure he's under my invisibility spell. So he got his attention really quick, that's a pretty cool thing to do. And then mesmerized him so that he couldn't, as well see him. So the next thing is you mean you can't even pick up their scent? Because remember, Dr. Druid did that, so they can't find him. And we see this roar. I stay here. I'm going to get the rest of the town combing the area. So they realize now how big of a threat Captain America and Dr. Druid are, and they've been told to go out and get them. And then we revert back to Avengers headquarters, more about D-Man and the situation that's going on there. It says 8 o'clock Saturday morning. Maybe he'll be home for once. He's talking about Steve. If I didn't know better, I think he was avoiding me. Who's this? A new receptionist? Because Steve's current date at the moment. Security scanner's got a positive ID. Rosenthal Bernadette. The captain himself put her on the clearance level 4 list. So, he trusts her a lot. May I help you, ma'am? And she said, the name's Bernie. And I'm not going to go on. Old friend, she says, how she knows Cap. And then there's a talk that goes on a little bit here. Hello, Jarvis. You met Master Dennis. Here's a good old D-man. Master Dennis, this is Bernie. Madam, this is Dennis Dumpy. Dennis Dumpy, the unlimited class wrestler? The same Master Dennis is suffering from some memory problems and speech impairment at this juncture. We were about to go for a walk in Central Park. Would you care to join us? She's like, sure, because if you recall from the last few issues, D-Man has not been speaking. There's issues there going on, and that gets explored in the series. So we go to the next page. Starkborough, Massachusetts. We're back there. Enter Moon Hunter. Huh? Did he tell me to come in already? Notice that. He told him before he even knocked. Okay? So that's showing you some more of his abilities there, if you will. Dreadman. We got the intruders in the city. They seem to be able to mask their sight and smell from the townies. Who are they? Don't know who the one is, but the other is Captain America. Now look at this guy. You have to. I always see this villain. I can see why he hasn't, as far as I recall, ever returned. He's not the coolest looking villain. He looks a little bit goofy, but I have to admit, I think you could rework this guy and make him a pretty decent villain. So anyway, what? I thought you told me you disposed of him. Guess I underestimated him a bit. Yeah. In other words, I screwed up. I'm not really going to make a point of telling you that. All right. I did have another priority at the time. Your incompetence is duly noted, Hunter. Fortunately for you, I have someone who will not fail me. I've taken matters from your hands. So in other words, he sent somebody else. And who do you think who else do you think he would send to Captain America? And meanwhile, if that poor wretch Moon Hunter left at the main road is any indication, any or all these townspeople running about may indeed be werewolves, transformed back into human by the rays of the morning sun. This may be where they live, but where do they come from? Are all these supernatural werewolves? That's an interesting, because they don't know that at the time. So what you see as they're exploring and diving into it, there's a heavy pall of mysticism over this town, but the impression I get from these wolf people is that there is something else underlying from their transformations. You mean like, shh, they cannot see us. They can hear us. So keep that in mind. So anyway, they continued the discussion. I was just wondering if there might be a chemical basis for this. So he's talking about maybe there's a chemical issue here because he's had his friend turn into one. And notice here the Falcon way back in issue 164. Maybe we'll do a flashback from that issue sometime. All right. With any luck, the mayor of this city of werewolves will, whoops, and look at that, he runs by. But here we go. Here's what gets fun. I don't know if that was the mayor, but it may be worth checking out here. So he's going to check it out, and then boom, look, they get in here. It's dark in here. Somebody's in the shadows, and there it is. None other than Wolverine, because Wolverine was throwing in books to sell them. Because when you throw in Wolverine, you get sales. And so now we have a sort of controlled, made completely feral version of Wolverine. All right, Wolverine! Look at that, he busts through. He hurled across the room before my eyes could adjust to the dimness, and Druid could put a spell on him, so there's no time, because Wolverine was fast and jumped at him. Now here we are. Wolf, Logan, it's me, Captain America. Didn't you recognize me? From that wild look in his eyes, apparently not. And look at this. Captain America flips him over, smashes him in there. Get off! Got to get him off of me before he shreds me. Because Captain America does realize how dangerous Wolverine is. One of the things I really liked about this issue is because they're always the classic, people would argue, well, Wolverine can beat anybody. Wolverine could beat Captain America. Well, you have to remember, Captain America is a very skilled fighter. And sometimes when that discussion comes up, this fight comes up. To use it, and I'm not to use against Captain America to say that, but keep in mind, Captain America is not going full out on this guy either. So here we go. Look at that. He shreds that. I love that. Look at that post. 3 pieces there from his claws. Barely got to my feet. So, I mean, you definitely see the respect for Wolverine's fighting there. Who is that guy in the yellow? Look at, don't ask me. I love that. Now here we go. Cap lifts up his shield and you see the claws bouncing off it. Logan, you're under some sort of spell. Fight it, man. Fight it. He does not have that look of a man trying to fight it. What the devil is happening to Druid? Looks like I'm going to have to take down my favorite feral mutant by all my lonesome. Alright. So here we go. Cap's going to punch him. Says, I dare not hold back. He's as dangerous as they come. Must put everything I've got into this haymaker. Come on, Logan, stay down. Look at that punch. Whammo. But once again, we all know how tough Logan is. But look at how cool this punch is. Captain America punches him so hard, he blows through that vehicle. I mean, look at that. And he just gets up, though. Rawr. I was hoping that my impact might knock some sense into his head, but it's only made him angrier. Time to shift combat tactics. All right, now while he's in midair, I mean, look at that. See how tactical Captain America is. Here we go. Got him. So he rolls him over. What's happening? Who's he fighting? So notice that. Remember, there was a spell put on, that was mesmerized. So they actually don't see, because they're the wolves when they change at night, they don't see Cap here, that's sort of cool, because they don't see what the heck's going on. Logan, listen to me. You're under somebody's spell. You've got to. And look, he heads on some thump. Oh, I mean, think about that. An adamantium skull headbutt. Ouch, that's going to hurt. Headbutted me. About to slash. Got to get shield into position. Nice pintle, the other. And then thunk. So here's the thing. Yes, Captain America didn't win this fight because of that. But Captain America was, if it wasn't a one-on-one at this point, another person came in. So we cannot use this as a who's going to win Captain America versus Wolverine. Okay, just for the record, it's not fair. It's who would win with somebody else helping. Now, who's to say how it would have turned out? But also, this isn't a Wolverine in his sound mind either. So this should not be used as an example for that. So moving on to the next page. Oh, get a grip. Here comes Dreadman. So he's got him. Stand up, Wolverine. You have performed admirably. Now bring him to Nightshade's lab and prepare him for the treatment. So now they're bringing Captain America for the treatment. Here we have Captain America. You don't know what a treat this is. Being able to apply my trade upon your exquisite, can't speak today, your exquisite physique again so soon. But unlike last time when you managed to thwart the effects of my mutagens, I assure you this time you will not. Captain, get ready to howl. And that's where this issue ends. Well, they go into the secondary story, but I'm not covering that here today. So Captain America is about to get injected to be turned into none other than Cap Wolf. And stay tuned definitely for the next issue, because we're going to cover that. Hopefully it won't take 2 months. Hopefully I'll get it done in 1 month. So I hope you enjoyed this issue. So what do you think is going to happen next when Captain America's a wolf? Will we see him fight Wolverine again? What are your thoughts? To me, these issues here were just fun. This isn't any, you notice it's not beating you up with political jargon and ideology and views. It's just good, classic, goofy, fun stories. Notice there was nothing mentioned. Now, if this was today's books, she would have had to mention something about her feminist agenda or how this is getting back at all the evil white men. And we don't have that. It was just a good story. All right. So I enjoyed this story. I hope you did as well. If you did enjoy this story, please, consider checking out the next ones and telling others about it too. All right, guys. And until next time, keep it frugal.